Hi, and welcome to Mindful, Beautiful, and Thriving, a podcast series by Tharaka Foundation focused on youth mental health. Before we begin today's episode, I just wanted to let you all know that all content that is found in our podcast is created for informational purposes only. This content is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, treatment, or therapy. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition, and never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you have heard in this podcast. Thank you so much, and without further ado, let's get started.
Thank you so much, Sister Rini, for joining us today. Today we are recording the second episode of Mindful Parenting series. During the first episode, we talked about Be the Sky, and you reminded us the importance of, first taking good care of ourselves before even we take care of our kids. So that was very beautiful. So today I wanted to tell you or talk to you about self care, right? So, when my kids were young, I was definitely not taking care of myself. It was very overwhelming experience. Demands were there from everywhere, from my workplace, from kids, from spouse, from social pressures. If I tell you how my morning used to be when kids were young, I was always rushing. I had to pack lunch for them, make them ready for school, feed them breakfast, rush to work. I like forget about my own self, like taking care of my own self. Even with kids, I think if I look back, I was maybe not kind, or I found shortcuts. Just turn on the TV, shove food in their mouth. If they are enjoying, not enjoying, I don't care. I need to reach and work on time, because back of my mind, what if I'm meeting that traffic, I'm not reaching on time, everybody's there in the room and it will look awkward. So always, thinking about my next step or future. I was not enjoying my parenting journey. It was rather felt like a lot of work. So I wanted to ask you if you experienced something similar, or if other parents who are listening to us, they are also feeling the same. But I felt, what can they do differently?
Yes, I would say the very first thing is to know that I have a choice to do things differently, right? Because right now, it's like a hamster on the wheel. We are just doing things mindlessly, we are living life uh, just the way we've always lived. And I would say for me personally, parenting and I would say wanting to be a good parent was the source of all my misery, honestly, because I was looking for a sense of fulfillment, a sense of feeling worthy, and a sense of identity of being a good person was being derived from being a good parent, right? And as a result, I found that my children were bearing the burden of my expectations. And and I thought that no, because if I'm doing it for their good, if they do well in school, their future will be good. So all I'm doing is helping them make their futures more secure, right? So I was putting pressure on them, kind of always telling them, like, for example, I remember once somebody shared, they said that, and I would also ask them sometimes, so what would you do? What would you like to do when you grow up? Right? Things like that. These are very subtle ways of putting pressure on them. And publicly, you're asking these questions, and they don't know what they're going to do. I mean, they're right now even just trying to know themselves, finding their feet, right? And so for me, it's always been one thing that has been very important is unless I really take care of myself and I come to know my children are not the source of my happiness, but I come from happiness and move towards them rather than moving towards them for happiness, right? And the moment that shift was there, and as you said, in the morning, we had so many things to do. We would wake up, we had to plan for our meetings, and we had to drop them to school on the way to work, feed them breakfast, pack their lunch. All of that can be done. But if it is done from a place of, and I would say, it is not that number of activities or the things that we need to do that is kind of an issue. But in fact, if the children can see how my mother or my father, for that matter, is so imperturbably peaceful through all these variety of activities, and that is the biggest lesson, to model the teaching, to model that patience, to model that peace for them. So, along with packing the food for lunch, we are also kind of empowering them with our imperturbable peace, right? And so, once I realized this, that they are not the source of my happiness, and for that matter, any activity, not just parenting, even my job or my bank account or anything, that is not the source of my security or my happiness. It all starts with me. So I need to take care of that I, which is taking care of everything else. That's rule number one. It became for me, right? After making many mistakes, which I don't see as mistakes anymore, because in hindsight, they actually kind of encouraged me to look deeper within myself, right? So I have no regrets at all of the past, of how, because at times, I mean, there were things, if you really kind of look at them and you see, maybe I could have done this differently. No, I could not have done anything differently. Because this was how it was meant to be. And that is what made me more interested in knowing my truth, so that I can really be playing my roles from that place of truth. So I would say anybody who's listening and they really feel that they like Sister Poonam just mentioned, they have so many things to do during the day, and then they have to pick up the kids after school also for their activities, and then go back home, cook the meal for the family, right? There are lots of things to do, but we are always doing one thing at a time. Is that true, Sister Poonam? Do you feel that in your experience?
You're right, Sister Rini. Doing one thing at a time. Yeah, mentally sometimes I feel I used to be scattered, but over the time, as you are sharing your experience, I learned a lot. I am happy. I'm not looking for happiness, and that gave me a lot of strength. And I'm more focused on doing one thing and being fully present on that, not thinking about my next task or next day or next week. So definitely, I think what you are saying, we are doing one thing at a time, but now putting that conscious effort and being fully present, that is my secret of not feeling overwhelmed or not getting lost. So that's how I felt I am now in control. As you were explaining last time, emotions will come and go like clouds, but who am I, the sky? So that practice, I think, definitely is helping me.
Absolutely. And one more thing, as you mentioned, that we can still do 10,000 different activities, or we can cut down the number of activities during the day. I remember also making that conscious effort to cut down the number of activities that I would even take them to, after my work or after my yoga classes were finished, then I would take them to different activities. I had to cut down number of activities that they were doing because I found, yes, in the beginning it was to explore what they would like to do and then stick with what they liked and not doing things just because everybody else around me is doing. Everybody else's children are doing so many things, and my children are not doing that many things. That means somewhere they're missing out on something. So these kind of attitudes of public pressure and what if my children are lagging behind and others' children will go ahead of my children? Today's world is very competitive. All these kind of beliefs actually are driving our parenting, right?
Yes, I would like to also tell you one thing when you were talking about, asking kids in public what you want to be. So my daughter was 13-year-old that time, and I asked a similar question to her, and she was literally in tears. And she told me she feels tremendous pressure. Both parents are post grads, they are earning very handsome salary. She doesn't know what her future is, and she doesn't know if she will be able to do post grad and work in tech industry or whatever. But poor girl was literally in tears, and that broke my heart. And I realized, what wrong I was trying to do with her. Next time, like I said, I'm not going to ask her that question. Let her be who she wants to be. As we talked last time also, I am going to be in a supportive role. I'm on the passenger seat and she is on the driver's seat. So that is one thing I wanted to share. The other thing you said, like comparison. Oh my God,
Mm.
yeah, other kids are doing that. You need to do that, or even grades for our number of
Yeah,
taking APs,
absolutely.
right? Classes. So
Absolutely.
eh, parents might have good intention, but they do not know what damage, they are causing by comparing their kids with others. My kids both hated it when I brought, other people's name. They said, Mom, don't talk about other people. You don't know what other things they do, right? Yeah, you just look at their grade or activity, but are they, like character wise? And there were many other things, but the learning was comparison is not actually healthy. So I learned that also in my parenting journey.
Absolutely. And I would say they are our teachers, actually, right? And so, more I started seeing children as my teachers, and they taught me how to not just be a mother of two, they taught me how to be a world mother. And the moment I moved my perspective from being a mother of two to being a world mother, I actually started becoming a better parent, right? And I would say that what it means is elaborate a little bit more on it. And I used to put a lot of pressure on my older daughter she was not very good in studies, right? And especially mathematics. And being an Indian parent, how can you be weak in mathematics, right? That is like the very essence of being an Indian, that you must be good in mathematics. True. And I would put a lot of pressure, have a lot of tuitions for her, and she kept resisting, she kept crying, she just didn't want to know anything about mathematics. And we would have lots of arguments and it was like a very tough time for both of us. And I remember at that time something in me kind of it was just enough is enough. I can't take this anymore. And I said, I need to do something. I don't know what it is, but I do need to do something. And and it is at that time that is when I kind of found myself seeking some spiritual studies, some meditation, so that I could be calmer before I interacted with her. And so that kind of really initiated my spiritual seeking also, and my journey towards myself, right? So I give all the credit to her. And the thing is, the moment I started studying some kind of spiritual study, and what I found was, in that study, it was very clearly taught that until you know yourself, you cannot play any roles properly. So I started spending some time with myself, and I started seeing these emotions of needing to feel good about myself by being a parent of intelligent children, and this desire to be feeling fulfilled and feeling complete by feeling secured in my parenting, by making sure that they have a secure future. And all of that was, all those kind of feelings and emotions were dictating my parenting. And it became so clear that how can a seed which itself is so rotten give birth to a very healthy tree? It can't. So the work needs to be done at the seed level, right? And so there was a lot of self-introspection that was going on the journey. And in that, I realized the more I looked at myself, that which I am is happiness itself. It's my nature. I don't need to look for happiness in activities, in relationships, in objects, in substances, nothing. I just need to know that my true nature is happiness. And more I spent more time with myself. I kind of let go of pressure on her to do well in mathematics. And there came a point I was okay with her to even fail in school. And believe it or not, for 2 years, she even failed in mathematics. But she did not receive any pressure from me to do well in school. She did not receive any pressure from me to be a so-called very good kid in public so that I could look good. So zero pressure on her. But after 2 years, it's like when you are somewhere taking care of yourself, the whole universe comes together to kind of confirm what you are knowing yourself to be, right? So after 2 years, the subject that she hated the most, which was mathematics, she found a teacher in her school. And in the school, after failing for 2 years, everybody had given up hope on her. And one of the teachers, who was supposed to be a very strict teacher, somehow had a special like confidence in her that she can do well, right? And that teacher came along the way in her journey, on her life's journey. And all the other students, they did not like that teacher, but she loved that teacher. She was very strict, but she loved her for some reason. And both of them, they kind of worked with each other, and she started loving mathematics. She started excelling in mathematics. She studied mathematics in her college. So what I'm trying to say is that when I started working on myself and I took away the pressure of my expectations of her needing to do well to make me happy, it actually made her thrive, right? And yes, Sister Poonam.
That's very powerful, Sister Rini. In fact, I have similar story. Yeah, so my daughter also was not doing very well in mathematics. The part what was little bit hurtful to me. I think she was under tremendous pressure. She needed help, but even she couldn't share that she needs help because she thought she will disappoint parents, and she was taking all the burden within her. And I thought things will be taken care. I don't need to interfere, and she did fail, but that was the, I think, best part in her
Yeah,
journey, because she learned, she became resilient, and she attended summer school, and that became that comeback story for her. That essay she wrote, it's okay to fail. Failure is not opposite
absolutely.
to success, right? It's
Absolutely.
part of your success. You become
Absolutely.
rather, right, more,
More resilient.
that is one story what came to my mind. The other part, when you were talking about having that one person in our kids life who believe in them and who see their potential. So even she had one English teacher, and she would complain about that English teacher. In the beginning he was very strict, and why he's teaching this way, that way. All the students hated that teacher, but somehow my daughter became his favorite, rather became teacher assistant to that teacher. And again, she did wonderful things in her school. But as you were saying, I think somewhere, even my kids used to tease me, like, do you need bragging rights, mom? Why are you behind our grades? Right? So you were talking about that Indian parents. Oh, when you meet in gatherings and all, you all guys talk about grades and you comparison, and and is that why you need more grades from us? So as you were saying, our kids are our teachers, right? They
Absolutely.
are bringing rather, you know, us closer to our truth. So I learned a lot in my parenting journey, as you were sharing. Definitely backing off in my daughter case. We gave her space, and we said, she will figure out her journey. We don't need to interfere. Yeah, if we are on the engineering side or strong in math and science, that doesn't mean she needs to be strong in math and science. She's very artistic and she loves literature. It's okay. And today she is doing wonderful things at her workplace. So learning is, as you are saying, do not project your fears or expectations on your kids. Let them be
Absolutely.
who they want to be.
Absolutely. And I think this aspect of this unshakable, unconditional love, it's not dependent on what they do or what they don't do. If that's the foundation for them, then I find then success and failure, they can see their own truth prior to success and failure. And I think that is the biggest gift that you can give to your children and to yourself, actually. And as I was saying that, I mean, when I even stopped comparing them with other children and their friends, and I started seeing that, sometimes they would come back from school and they would be feeling very down and down in the dumps, and they would be feeling very sad sometimes, or lonely, or not feeling as good. I remember helping them have this after my own spiritual studies. I remember helping them have this healthy attitude towards their emotional life also. And we would be like, so today, sadness is going to have dinner with us as well. Okay. That's wonderful. Let's have them visit us and have dinner with us. Or maybe loneliness also wants to visit us today. So kind of helping them really, I would say they were helping me and we were helping them. We were kind of parenting each other in many ways. So they were like, what I realized is that emotional life, if that is healthy, then whatever comes in their way, they will be able to deal with that from a very healthy perspective, because it's not always going to be spring weather in life, right? Whether at the level of emotions or at the level of circumstances, it's going to be all different weathers all the time. And the more when I started treating my own mind like a child, I saw that I could treat them better and help them also treat their mind like a child. And so we would invite their feelings to dinner and really sit with them. And it's okay to feel that way. There's nothing wrong in feeling sad. You are not judged for feeling sad, and nobody's in a rush to get rid of those feelings. Let them stay for as long as they need to. They're not defining your truth. They're just there temporarily visiting you. And as a guest, they'll be there for a short while and they'll leave when they need to leave. So, kind of helping them see what I was seeing within myself, honestly. And that is why I always find that my children were my teachers who really helped me and wanting me to know my truth more deeply and not live a life of ignorance. So that has been really such a beautiful parenting journey for me. I find that I have learned more from them. And being a world mother means mother to my own mind.
Thanks for clarifying that. I was going to ask you when you said you became a world mother, so mother of your own mind. Very
Yeah.
beautiful. Uh, but Sister Rini, I wanted to ask you one question. You waited 2 years for your daughter to go through that time when she was not doing well. Were you worried? Were you anxious? How did you calm yourself down? Because if we are talking today,
Mm-hmm.
parents may think, oh, now that is fast for
Mm-hmm.
you, easier said than done. Any
Mm-hmm.
advice to parents?
Absolutely. I would say, yes, it was not always a smooth road. It was not. I could see at times frustration coming up. I could see at times irritation coming up, some fear coming up. A lot of times, fear coming up. Am I doing, and doubt? Am I doing the right thing? Should I be maybe doing something else? Maybe I should at least reprimand her a little bit, kind of those things. So, doubt, fear, anxiety, worry, all these beautiful little kids would come up in front of me, right? And I really had that attitude towards these little emotions that would come up in front of me. I myself was becoming like a kid, parent to my mind kid, right? And what I realized is that all I had to do was take one step back and don't become that fear and then come into action. So I took a pause, step back from that fear, and see that fear with detachment, but love. That yes, you're one with me. I feel you in my body. But at the same time, because you know how a mother and a child is so close, it's just one. Literally, at one point, even at the physical level, mother and child are one physically, right? Similarly, emotions are one with us, right? And we feel they're very intimate, but the best motherhood is to be loving and detached. So I could be very loving to my emotions, but at the same time be detached. So instead of correcting her, I was connecting with my own truth, right? And connecting with my own truth, my mind got corrected. And when my mind got corrected, I could come into correct parenthood. Yeah. And so that is why I always found after this understanding of spiritual matters, it really was very helpful. And I would say meditation today is not a choice, it is a necessity. Yeah. Whether you're at work, whether you're playing a part of a parent, or whether you are at a job, it doesn't matter what you're doing. At the end of the day, it is you, that which you are. If you don't know yourself, you cannot play any roles well. So for me, it was all about self introspection. So, yes, fears, doubts, everything assailed me. I wasn't sure whether I was doing the right thing or not. But one thing I was very sure of is that if I come from a place of peace and love that is unconditional, sooner or later, I'm in no rush, sooner or later, the whole universe will come together to help me. And that to me was the only thing that I had to hold on to. I had no other data. I could not see in the future, right? What will their future be? But all I knew was if I'm coming from the right place, I'm coming from the place of undisturbed peace. This kind of modeling of parenting is probably more important than any good grades that they could get. Or they could even ace their school, but if they don't have this one basic tenet of how to face their emotions, how to kind of live with their own mind, if they don't know that, that had become very clear to me, then they have not achieved anything in life, in the sense that they have not really learned the most basic foundation of happy living. So to me, that became very, very important. That their healthy emotional life is more important than any grades or any kind of best jobs in Silicon Valley.
So beautiful, Sister Rini. In fact, I was reading some articles about, job future or, job market, IQ versus EQ, right? Grades, we think IQ is important, but now, AI is telling us there is no value of information. It's at your fingertips. But
Absolutely.
are you able to manage your emotions? Do you know what you're feeling and how do you course correct it? How do you work with other human beings? Right. So, end of the day, what you said, teaching our kids those skills, life skills, how they can thrive in unknown, uncertainty. I think that's more important. Even my parenting journey tells me the same. But the key, what you shared with us today, meditation is necessity, no matter what job role, what parenting role, what other role anybody is playing in the society. And that's how, when with the help of meditation, mindfulness, if you can remain in your own truth, who you really are, then other things become easy, including parenting. So
Absolutely.
thank you so much, Sister Rini. Today, if I summarize the whole conversation in one sentence, be the world mother. That means mother of your own mind before you become mother to your own kids. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Sister Poonam. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
You are listening to Mindful, Beautiful, and Thriving, a podcast series by Tharaka Foundation. As part of our youth series, we will be releasing new episodes every month, so make sure to continue to check those out. We hope you enjoyed this podcast, and we thank you so much for listening.